An education expert at Durham University has been recognised with a top award for his contribution to dyslexia understanding. Professor Julian Elliott has received the 2020 award for outstanding contribution to education and child psychology from the British Psychological Society. His research argues that a dyslexia diagnosis is highly problematic and lacks scientific evidence.
Oh, it's lovely to get some recognition from my peers. It's the British Psychological Society, it's the educational psychologists in that society, and it's an award for outstanding contribution to professional understandings and practice. Over the last 40 years, I've tried to understand the nature of reading difficulties and whether there really is a group of dyslexic children which are different in some way to the other children who struggle to learn to read. Firstly, the scientific evidence to support these diagnoses is not there, that actually there are no clear criteria for making these judgments. And secondly, the children who get these diagnoses often get various kinds of help, support, resource and understanding, which the other children don't get. And the other children suffer quite greatly because their needs aren't picked up. So what we're trying to do at the moment, and why I've won the award, is because we are trying to work very, very hard with local authorities to identify all children who are struggling to learn to read and trying to put into place from a very young age forms of intervention which will help reduce the likelihood of future difficulties as they get older.
His book shows the most effective interventions for children struggling to read work, regardless if they are dyslexic or not. He's discussed his work on the BBC and Loose Women, to name a few, but has received some backlash for his work.
For many people, being diagnosed as dyslexic is quite a powerful thing and is helpful to them personally. The diagnosis can also be helpful to them in that they get resources and help of one kind. Of course, what they fail to realise is that much greater numbers of children who also struggle to learn to read don't get any of this. And by focusing on this very small proportion, the other children lose out. So I've had some very, very angry emails, letters, communications over the last 20, 30 years from people who are very, very cross with me about these kinds of arguments. Well, my job is to be a scientist and also to be a clinician. And as a scientist, what I have to do is to try and help understand and help other people understand what's going on when children are struggling with their learning. And as a clinician, I have to try and help the children with whom I'm working personally. So although I understand the anger that's directed towards me, I don't let that get in the way of the things I'm trying to achieve here.
Katie Smith reporting from Durham.